Hello, greetings. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and blessings from Germany, from Ayya Phalanyani. I thought we'd start again with 15 minutes of meditation. So I'm just going to set the alarm, and once in a while I might say a few words of guidance in that meditation. So sit back. So, for the beginning of your meditation, make sure that you're sitting comfortable but upright. Not a tensed and stretched upright, but a very natural and organic upright, so that only those muscles and sinews and things in your body, your back upright and your head up, that those are doing some work, and all the rest of your muscles and sinews shall relax. Also, your shoulders can relax. There's nothing for them to carry now. They can release all tension. The face. Let's check the face. The forehead can be relaxed. As well as the cheeks and the chin. Now we check on the belly. This gravity in everything, the intestines, the muscles, and everything there is, the belly, and everything just can fall as gravity commands it to do. And the breath just goes in and out of our body freely, easy. And today, we're also checking the chest. And we take some deep breaths into our lungs. So that the chest is rising, and since our shoulders are relaxed and there's no tension in the shoulders, our chest can open. And after a few deep in and out breaths, we try to keep the focus there on the chest. And release all tension of the chest. in the breath. How we take in softly filling our lungs and our entire upper body with freshness, with softness, with love. And when we breathe out, we breathe out with goodwill, and soft we breathe in, refreshing the body. And with goodwill, we breathe out, and we release everything that might be unwholesome. And we let in everything that is wholesome. Any tensions, any thoughts of harm, any thoughts of cruelty, any anxiety, goes out with our breath and vaporizes, never to be seen again, never again manifesting in this world. And only that soft breath in and the wholesome breath out remains for the time to come. That was quick. Good day, all. Happy to see you. So, I greet everyone who is here presently and also those who are watching later. Today, I announced that we would have question and answer. And there is already a question written in the so many nice greetings. So there is already a question here in the chat. I'll come back to that. No, I think if I don't do it now, I'll forget later, or I don't find it again. So, Pinto has a question um, that we deal with first. So, I don't know why I can't meditate. May you say I can't concentrate my mind? That is Pinto's question. So Pinto can't meditate and asks whether I would say that he or she cannot concentrate the mind. Well, I can't say that from afar because there are two parts of meditation which are important and which could make that you feel that you can't meditate. There is, for once, the aspect of sati, and then we have samadhi. So the first is mindfulness, and the second is what mostly is translated as concentration, but we also could say that would be the collection of the mind, the the capability of keeping the mind one pointed and focusing. So I think focus is a very good translation for that. So this mindfulness and this focus needs to be both developed for meditation to really function, to really work, and not only make us feel a little bit good, but also to give us some insights and to develop the possibility to then have the strength for samavayamo, which is in English the right striving, and that is fourfold. So we first know, of course, the unwholesome and evil states of our mind, and then we can start to eliminate those states, those unwholesome states. And once they are gone, we don't let them get back up. So we do not let them arise again. Once they do not arise anymore, we put in the wholesome states of mind, and then would make sure that we cultivate them so that we do not lose them. That is maybe what we would aim for in meditation. And for that, as I said, you would need both the mindfulness and the focus. Not to say the concentration, because concentration sometimes does have a little bit a negative connotation. So you practice both with balance. The part of the focus will make you calm, smooth, will make you joyful, maybe even. And the sati part might in the beginning be disturbing, might in the beginning be like feeling like I'm out of focus, I cannot concentrate. And we need to to bind, I would call it, the the mindfulness with the concentration. So if mindfulness is not bound by and held in place, to say, by concentration or by focus, then it would go astray, and you would get lost. But when you have an awareness that can clearly go and see one thing, then the next thing, then another thing, but you have a clear focus and a very firm concentration, you will never get lost. You will always stay one pointed, not one pointed in one single point, but your focus is one pointed and can shine its light, so to say, and each point every single moment, you know? So that would be practicing both the sati and the samadhi. There are up some talks of mine where I elaborate more about that, and I don't know if I shall go deeper into it. But for your question, I think that was the best answer. It's not usually that people lack concentration. Usually, the concentration that we learn when we go to school is well enough for the beginning to start with. And then what we can't do is putting it together with mindfulness and make it work together so that we can have a strong base of concentration for our mindfulness to work. Mhm. So when you feel that in your daily life you would always go somewhere and uh, remark notice every little detail here and there, but totally get lost in the end, and can't focus, then you lack concentration, you lack samadhi, and you need to train that. When in your daily life you notice, I'm missing out details, but I can really focus well on one thing. And I even, when I have something on my desk that I need to work on, and I'm going to my desk, I would bump with my leg on the table, on the edge of the table, and or I would run against the door frames, or I would remember everything that would be coming before a task that I would have to fulfill. Then you have too much of a concentration, and it's not too much in the end. We shall, for meditation, have high concentration or a strong focus, but we also shall have a strong sati, a strong mindfulness. And as I said, only both, when practiced together, can bring the result that we need. So you focus on your goal, but you notice every little detail that might be in your way beforehand. So then you practice both. And so when I describe it like that, you can check in your daily life. What am I doing? How am I going through my life? Am I more totally absorbed in things? Then practice mindfulness. And if your mind always goes astray and you can't focus at all, then practice concentration or calmness meditation. So there are more questions then, right? I think that is the next one. While meditating, after some time, I feel like my breath becomes very short or I barely breathe. That is totally all right. That is a sign of focus, of concentration when the mind goes still. There are several ways the breath can either become very short and very like flattering, vibrating, and almost feel like almost not breathing at all. Another sign of high focus, of high concentration, can be the opposite of that. Can be that your breath becomes so deep and so still and so long and that you barely notice that you're even breathing because it's so slow. So, but yes, that is absolutely no problem. Know that you are in probably a quite good state of meditation. When at this stage of your meditation, you notice that there is a wish or a thought, then make sure that you know that this is a hindrance to go even deeper into meditation. So try that you even relax more and let go of thoughts, or try to have the, how to say, the spaces between thoughts, make them longer and longer until they go away. If you want to know more about that, ask, but that is for the time being what I would say to that. Ayya, I have difficulty with sense pleasure of good food. Good food made me satisfied. What's my lunch? What's my dinner later is always the question daily. How can I overcome this hindrance? Yes, well, you can, of course, try once you notice I'm doing it again. I'm thinking of food again. Try to let go of that thought. That is one measure. You can also make some experiments with yourself. I would think that you, for say a week, say, I'm going to live like a mendicant, I'm going to live like a nun or a monk, and will not think of and prepare something very special. And so maybe you just buy things for 1 week and then that's it. Um, of course, we always think about our satisfaction of sensual pleasures. That is, especially when you are out there in that world, is a great source of satisfaction. I mean, we have benefits. We like things, and we feel benefited, so to say, when we can follow our sense desires, when we can think about that food and then we prepare that food and then we eat it. And of course you can do a Asubha practice, but a Asubha practice would be something um, that is putting the ugly part of food, of eating and digesting into your vision. So you can do that. Actually, if there is no other way, you can actually practice a Asubha practice with your food. And once there is a thought of greed or sense pleasure arising in regards to food, you can think, well, I will eat that food and then it will mix in my mouth and it will become a disgusting looking, full of spittle mass of food, and then I will swallow it and it will go down. And then the body starts digesting it and the body starts putting acids into it. And then it transforms into excrement. And latest at that point, it becomes disgusting. So you could use that practice, for example. You, as I said, you can also just try to acknowledge, here I am greedy again. Here I want to follow my sense desires. And try not to follow it. Try to change the thinking, for example, of people not having enough food. Try to think of situations or people starving. So redirect your thinking into a different direction. That could also help with that. And go ahead and just prepare very simple food with just a little salt on it, nothing more. And do this again and again, that you have kind of times when you practice this kind of sense restraint with food. Is that for the moment enough input to that? Hi, says Lucas. I was wondering, is it wrong view to say that our attachment and grasping to things is the origin of suffering rather than the craving? Well, the attachment and grasping is craving, I would say. So we can sum that up in the Pali term tanha. And this tanha, that thirst, that craving, makes that we are attached and that we grasp. So because there is that craving, there is tanha, that thirst, we do attach. One is the base, one is the cause, and the next that we then grasp is the result. So no, I don't think it's really wrong view to say that our attachment and grasping to things is the origin of suffering, because if you can let go of attachment and grasping, then you would let go of suffering. And by that, you would eliminate craving, you would eliminate tanha. So, no, I wouldn't really say that it is wrong view, but because they work that closely together. See here. De Ayya, what insight does an Arahant have, or what ignorance do they uproot so as never to be tired? You're asking a non-Arahant. What I can say so far from meditation is that when I was in meditation and doing nothing else for several years, when I was in Thailand, I was not allowed to do anything at all. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes of sweeping every day. But apart from that, going to have some food and things. But apart from that, I was meditating for 3.5 years. And within that time, when you don't do anything and you just meditate, even though you are not an Arahant, you need less sleep because you purify your mind. You don't have such stupid thoughts and you don't have so much desire. And it's not that it's totally eliminated. It might come back. But for the time being, when you are there and really meditating a lot, even a normal meditator eats less food and needs less sleep. That is very normal in a meditation retreat. And I think that is just the purification of the mind, because all this craving and all this going for our sense desires, so following greed, hatred, and delusions is what makes us tired. And this is a motor and this motor needs fuel. And when this motor calms down by meditation, then you need less sleep and less food. So I would think that in an Arahant, this is totally and completely absent. There are no more greed, hatred, and delusion. So that is why I would think they don't need so much sleep. So 2 or 4 hours of rest, because the body still needs some rest, would be okay. And now being in a monastery and leading a monastery and thinking thoughts and doing things, I need far more sleep than I needed then when I was in retreat. So I really think it is that you purify your mind for the time being. Yeah. Dear Ayya, would you please share with us some words on how to keep the practice light and joyful? I don't know. Oh dear. Yeah, of course, we want the practice to be light and joyful. And for you guys out there in the world, in a world that is so hard and so challenging, a light and joyful practice is that what you crave for. But practice must not always be light and joyful. When we do a meditation practice that is aiming for insight, it's probably not light and joyful. Light and joyful meditation happens to come the closer we get to the jhanas. When we get closer to the jhanas, that is the time when our hindrances are not at work. With the hindrances at work, we won't get any jhanas. So everything that we try is just kind of unskillful mending, like a bucket that leaks in at all at several places, and you try to put your thumbs and your fingers on the hose so that the water doesn't run out, but you can't mend it all with your thumbs and fingers. So that is the wish, to have it light and joyful, would be before you have the hindrances abandoned, at least for some time. It would be like trying to keep the water in the bucket with holding the holes of the in the bucket. So you can do that, of course. You can work with visions, you can work with affirmations, or mantras. That does actually really help and direct the mind into a joyful and light direction. Um, but actually, meditation is the Buddhist meditation. When it should be transformative, might not always in the beginning be light and joyful. The light and joyfulness arises after you abandon the hindrances and you go through the jhanic states. So, and until then, help yourself. Homies would say it's a little bit cheating, but you can do that and use like imaginings, visions, or how do you call them, imaginations and affirmations, like Actually, we did in the beginning a little bit, like opening the heart works for me very well, for others it wouldn't. So when I focus on the chest and open it, and later try to see the light there, or to see a light that shines and radiates, that would make a very, very light and joyful meditation. Does that help for the moment? Charmaine, the more I meditate, the more awareness and compassion I feel for all sentient beings. When I see them suffering, I feel it in my body and mind. How do I reduce these feelings without reducing my compassion? Well, that is a question. Yes, that is very hard to do, and I can totally feel with you. Yeah, um, uh, that is because we do not have eliminated the sense of self, of course. The compassion and awareness of suffering of others has greatly arisen already, which is wonderful. But then the sense of self is, of course, still there. So, and with this sense of self, you must somewhat take these things personal. So, the point here would be that you don't take these things personal, that you don't take yourself with all your compassion and with your awareness, that you do not take yourself as important, as an actor in that. And that you, of course, also are not afraid of learning to be equanimous, because I noticed that equanimous people out there in the world are sometimes called not interested or even neglected. So be sure that you are not neglecting the suffering of our others, and that you have compassion for others. But then go to Upeka and understand that there is no self in that compassion. It is not you who is compassionate. The Buddha was called by others Mahakaruniko, the great compassionate one. But he himself did not define himself with or for his compassion. There was just a tremendous amount of compassion when it was needed. So there was not sense of self. So now that you are at this point in your practice, which is really, I rejoice with you. Now that you are there, try to understand, to let go of the sense of self in that moment. And I can relate so much to that. It's a hard work. Mm-hmm. Ooh, so many things. Deborah, I have seen similarity between Buddhist meditation and my Montessori teaching experience. The mind-body connection is supported when we do not interrupt the child's concentrations and repetitions. I am not knowledgeable about Montessori teachings and how you would approach that, but I'm happy to hear. And I wouldn't say no because I can't say there is no relationship between those. And yeah, if there would be more about or question about that, go ahead. Otherwise, I don't know what to say more. Here, Buddha Ruchi. As I walk along, I see the flower buds, the flowers and the seeds, and the decay of the flowers. The here continues. Wilted flowers, the happy dogs and people, the miserable people, in short, everything. As I walk and observe, I say, this is Buddha, this is wonderful. This is my light and joyful practice. Yes? Why not? Can be done. I see twice. Hello, Ayya. Do you have any suggestions for me? I'm trying to learn about Buddhism, but I would also like some guidance. I don't know where to seek guidance from. Well, in Buddhist insights, I think there are some great teachers and there's also some great teaching. If you want to connect, um, you find me on internet when you Google Ayya Phalanyani. I think there will be probably something popping up, and but you know there is plenty. So if you ask somebody for guidance, they surely will give you. I'm doing this one talk in English every week, and once per week, I'm giving a talk in German, and that's yeah, the official part. And if you want to have further guidance, either connect with somebody from Buddhist Insights or connect with me as you wish. And if you have a question now, what guidance? How about what would you need? What would you want? What could I give you? Then go ahead and ask just now. So there's only 5 minutes left, and we didn't even touch the questions that that I noted in the announcement of today's talk. So there was that one question about the prostration, the benefit of the prostration that we do in front of the Buddha, or that we do in front of teachers. And I think, to make it short, this is very helpful and beneficial because we do learn to develop some, how is that English word now again? Not devotion, humbleness. of course. We do learn humbleness. So when I was a long time a Buddhist already, but had yeah, not was not ordained yet, or even in the beginning, 2 years of me being ordained with 8 precepts and 10 precepts, then I would mm, have difficulty to bow down. And so having this practice and having the understanding that it makes me soft and makes me humble, that was teaching me actually to love the prostration. Not I'm not doing it to bow down to a metal or plastic Buddha image. I'm doing it for the love for the Buddha, and I'm doing it for my own welfare, so that I learn to be more and more humble. So, since there are more questions, I will stop talking about that, although I could talk hours about bowing down. So, here. Hello, Ayya. Fingerprint asks, hello, Ayya. Would you talk about body calming when the kilesas have snuck in when I've lost focus, please? That would most probably take a longer time than we have now. For we can take that as a topic, as one of the topics. Maybe there seems to be a lot of need for question and answer. So I suggest next time we do a question and answer about meditation again. So just to say in brief, that when you have one point where to focus, whether that is the breath in the belly or on the chest, or even here or there, or whether you have a color that you imagine, or whether you have a color disc in front of you, or a candle flame, or an image. However, that concentration on that would calm you down. For me, it's the breath. I'm observing the breath, and once I start breathing, I try first to calm it down, but then I just relax. And it's the hindrances, one of the 5 hindrances, the restlessness and the, how's that called? Restlessness? Well, the restlessness. When you have guilt, turmoil, thoughts, then these things will make you unsettled. And with the breath, it is the awareness that, oh, I have become unaware. I have become restless. I would then name it restless, restless, restless. And by that, releasing the restlessness and focus again on the meditation object, with which I said in my case is the breath mainly. So then we have some. Thank you, Ayya. In the Mahayana tradition, it is said that when the Buddha came out of his meditation as a fully enlightened being, he uttered, "Wonderful. All things are perfect just as they are." This is a perspective that lightens my practice. I hope I am not out of place to make this observation. No, of course not, Buddha-ruchi. These things are wonderful. I'm not a Mahayana practitioner, and in our Theravada tradition, the Buddha has not said that right after his enlightenment. So that is a Mahayana thing. But these things are like crutches. They might help us for the moment, but they are not entirely bringing us directly to that same state of lightness and joyfulness. They are a crutch that we use to help us walk there. So we go there slowly, and crutches, if we can't walk without, are very helpful. So we better walk with crutches than crawl. So that then use these wonderful, all things are perfect just as they are. Because that is so. When you are in the moment and there is nothing else but the present moment, it's all perfect. That is indeed so. Although for the Theravadins, the Buddha didn't say that after his enlightenment. But yes, I think it's time to wrap up. Finger princess. Bless you, Ayya. Thank you. Yes. So, all the best to you all. So, next week we continue with question and answers about meditation. See you then. Bye bye.